What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the JuiceBox, presented by Lock City. It's Claw here today, and I hope you guys are all having a great start to the week. Today we'll have episode number 79 of the JuiceBox with an outlook into the Tuesday MLB slate. But before we get into it, just a reminder that you can join our premium tier Discord at wap.com/lockcity for only $5 per month. This gets you access to every cheat sheet every day across all active major sports, access to premium picks from all 9 of our pro cappers, and tons of sports-specific and stat-specific data points on a daily basis to help you become a better sports bettor. That's wap.com/lockcity. Get instant access for only 16 cents a day. All right. To recap yesterday, the JuiceBox Lock of the day was the over 8.5 in the Orioles and Brewers game. Brewers won 5-4. 5 plus 4 equals 9. So another cash. Shout out Whitey. Thank you for the great read. Now let's get into it for today. First game of the day, we have the Cubs at the Marlins. Jamison Taillon versus Ryan Weathers. The Marlins pulled out a high-scoring game yesterday, 8-7 over the Cubs. I think the Cubs can get back on track today versus the Marlins. Taillon, he's 2-3, 4.53 ERA. Ryan Weathers, on the other hand, he's only made one start, 1-0, 1.8 ERA. But looking deeper into the numbers here, Taillon, he's got great history versus the Marlins. In a limited sample size, 23 at-bats, the Marlins are only batting 174 off of him. He's got 7 strikeouts in that time as well. On the other hand, the Cubs are hitting 237 off of Weathers and 38 career at-bats. Carson Kelly and Seiya Suzuki they both have decent history versus Weathers, and I think that the Cubs pull out the win here. They're minus 135 on the money line, so I would take them on the money line at minus 135. That's a good price here to get the significantly better team. Next up, we have the Reds at the Pirates. Nick Martinez versus Bailey Falter. The Reds come into this one winners of 5 in a row. And the Pirates come in losers of 4 in a row. Like I've been preaching all along in baseball, you got to ride the streaks. So I'm going to go with the Reds here again. Got a nice price on the Reds here too at minus 135. Nick Martinez, he's 2-4 with a 3.66 ERA, but he's been pretty good lately. In 4 of his last 5 starts, he's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer. On the other hand, Bailey Falter, he's 2-3, 4.02 ERA. And he's also actually been pretty stellar. He's only allowed 1 earned run combined in his last 3 starts. But the Reds do have great numbers off of him in their career. They're batting .383 in 60 career at-bats versus Falter. Spencer Steer's batting .514 at-bats with a homer and 4 RBIs. Tyler Stevenson's batting .533 in 15 at-bats with 2 homers and 5 RBIs. And Santiago Espinal is also batting .500 in his career versus Falter in 8 at-bats with a homer and 4 RBIs. So I like the Reds to stay hot here. Just overall, the Pirates have one of the worst offenses in the league, and it's hard to trust them, especially if we think that the Reds are going to be able to put up some runs today. Moving on, we have the Braves at the Nationals. Spencer Strider versus Mitchell Parker. Strider's making his first start back off the IL, so it's only his second start of the year. He'll probably have some type of pitch limit, but I think it's safe to say he probably goes 5 innings. On the other hand, Mitchell Parker's coming into this one 3-3, 4.32 ERA. But he's not looked great lately. In his last 4 starts, he's given up 4 earned runs versus the Braves, 4 earned runs versus the Cardinals, 5 earned runs versus the Reds, and 6 earned runs versus the Mets. So looking at this, I think that the Braves are the play here. They've been pretty hot themselves too. They started the season 0-10. They've climbed all the way back to 24-23. So I would take the Braves here. They're minus 185 on the money line, so probably use them as a parlay piece. The Nationals can be a pretty pesky bunch, and I just think that Strider, even in a limited role today, he should probably have a lead after 5, and the Braves bullpen is more than serviceable to hold down the Nats. Moving on, we have the Mets at the Red Sox. We have Clay Holmes versus Walker Buehler. Clay Holmes comes into this one 5-2, 3.14 ERA. Walker Buehler 4-1, 4.28 ERA. The Mets come into this one losing 4 of their last 5. The Red Sox come into this one winners of 2 of their last 3 here. Not much on a side I really like on this one. I wouldn't mind backing the Red Sox as an underdog at home here. The Mets they haven't really looked. They've kind of looked out of it lately. After their hot start, they've kind of hit a little skid here, but Clay Holmes does have good numbers versus the Red Sox, and Walker Buehler, he's coming off of the IL, but he's been really solid at home this year, 3.44 ERA, and I think that this game's probably going to be a lower scoring game. So if I had to take any bet in this game, I'd probably take the under 9. Moving on, we have the Rangers at the Yankees. Patrick Corbin versus Will Warren. Patrick Corbin comes into this game 3-2 with a 3.35 ERA. Will Warren 2-2, 4.61 ERA. Corbin's been shockingly dialed in this year. Everyone loves to fade him, but he hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in any start this year. The Yankees have been crushing lefties this year, but I'm a little reluctant to jump on and fade Corbin when he's been on kind of a legacy run this year here. Will Warren, he's been up and down this year, but he's last start versus the Mariners, he only allowed 2 earned runs. Versus the A's, 1 earned run. So it looks like he's kind of getting into form here. He's facing the Rangers, so they've been a bottom 10 scoring offense all year long, and I kind of see this game going under as well. My favorite bet would probably be the under 9. Next up, we have the Padres at the Blue Jays. The It's Dylan Cease versus Chris Bassett. Coming into this one here, the Padres are coming off of getting swept at home by the Mariners, and the Blue Jays are coming into this one losers of 3 of 4. So both teams looking to right the ship here. But my favorite bet in this one would be the Padres on the money line. Just think that overall they've been the better team, and Dylan Cease has had decent success versus the Blue Jays in his career. In 57 at-bats versus them, they're only batting 175 with 21 strikeouts in 57 at-bats. On the other hand, we look at Chris Bassett. He's coming into this game. He had a bounce-back start last game where he went 5 2/3, 1 earned run versus the Rays. But before that, he had let up 4 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 4 earned runs. Now he gets the Padres offense, who's one of the better offenses in the league. And I think that the Padres do enough here to get this one done. So I'll take them on the money line at -125. Moving on, we have the Orioles at the Brewers. And we have Keegan Aiken versus Logan Henderson. The Orioles come into this one on a serious skid here, and they've lost 7 in a row now. The Brewers come into this one winners of 2 in a row. We're going to come back to this game later for our JuiceBox Lock of the day. But moving on, we have the Mariners at the White Sox. And we have the Mariners to be determined versus the White Sox are starting Bryce Wilson. Wilson's 0-2 with a 6.0 ERA. And the Mariners, they're one of the hottest teams in the league. I would just play them on the run line here. Don't really care who they're starting, honestly. It's the White Sox. So -1.5 is -108. Moving on, we have the Tigers at the Cardinals. Tarek Skubal versus Eric Fetty. My favorite bet in this game would be Skubal over 7.5 strikeouts. It's +140 on DraftKings right now. Skubal's been on fire, and the Cardinals' splits versus lefties are considerably worse. And this is a great bounce-back spot here for Skubal after allowing 5 earned runs versus the Red Sox. He was on a crazy run before that game where he had let up 1 earned run, 1 earned run, 0 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 0 and 0 earned runs. So I like him to get back on track here versus the Cardinals. And on the other hand, Eric Fetty, he's been okay this year. He's 3-3 with a 3.44 ERA, but I think overall we got to back Skubal and the Tigers here. They're -192 on the money line, but I do like them on the run line as well. You can get that at -108 on DraftKings. All right, next up we have the Phillies at the Rockies. Jesus Luzardo versus Antonio Sensatella. Luzardo comes into this one 4-0 with a 2.0 ERA, and Sensatella comes into this one 1-7 with a 6.39 ERA. I mean, this is not really a shocking take, but I think the Phillies win this one. They're -285 on the money line, and they're -192 on the run line, so not really playable odds here, but my favorite bet in this one would be Luzardo over 6.5 strikeouts. You can get that at +125 on DraftKings, so some really nice value here for Luzardo, who's been in great form to start the year, versus a Rockies team that's bottom 2 in strikeouts. Next up, we have the Royals at the Giants. Michael Lorenzen versus Hayden Birdsong. Lorenzen comes into this game 3-4 with a 3.76 ERA. Birdsong, I believe, is taking Jordan Hicks' spot in the rotation. He had been coming out of the pen earlier this year, so I'm not sure how long he's going to go, but last year he started a bunch of games, so I think they can probably get 5 innings out of him. But if I had to play anything in this game, I'd probably just play the under 8 or the Giants money line. The Royals offense has not been great this year, and on the other hand, I think the Giants can bounce back here versus Lorenzen at home. Oh, looks like I missed this Guardians at Twins game. We have Gavin Williams versus Chris Paddock. So this game is actually going. The game last night between these two actually got suspended in the 4th inning because of rain. So they're going to resume that game in the 4th inning earlier in the day and then play this game after. But coming into this one here, Gavin Williams 3-2, 4.29 ERA. Chris Paddock 2-3, 4.05 ERA. But Gavin Williams might have turned the corner here. In his last 3 starts, he hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of them. And he's had 6 Ks, 8 Ks, 9 Ks in those games. So he seems to be peaking right now. On the other hand, we have Chris Paddock, who has also been extremely dialed in. His last 2 starts, he's gone 7 innings in both. And he allowed 0 earned runs versus the Orioles and 1 earned run versus the Giants. But looking at how Paddock has faced versus the Guardians, he's been really, really good versus them. They're only batting 161 in 31 career at-bats. And on the other hand, the Twins are only batting 200 versus Gavin Williams in 30 career at-bats. I know they faced each other earlier this year. Gavin Williams was at home in that game. He only lasted 2 innings. He let up 7 hits, 4 earned runs. So I think that Gavin Williams can come out a little bit better in this game. I think my favorite bet would be the under 7.5 here. All right. Moving on, we have the Angels at the Athletics. Kyle Hendricks versus Gunnar Hoagland. Hendricks comes into this one 1-5 with a 5.18 ERA, and Hoagland comes into this one with it 1-1 with a 3.78 ERA. My favorite bet in this game would be the over 10.5 here. I think the A's will be able to do most of the scoring here to get us over this big number. The A's are at home. The ball's flying out of that ballpark like crazy. I also like Hoagland over 4.5 strikeouts. He has cleared this line in 2 of 3 games this year. The Angels, they lead the league in strikeouts, so I think he can get some strikeouts here. Moving on, final game of the night, we have the Diamondbacks at the Dodgers. Ryan Nelson versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The Dodgers are on a 4-game losing streak here, but they're sending their ace to the mound, Yamamoto. I think this is finally the game that they get back on track, and I would even play the -1.5 here. Yamamoto has been really good this year, 5-3, 2.12 ERA, and he's also been really good versus the Diamondbacks in his short career. They're only batting .205 and 44 career at-bats. On the other hand, Ryan Nelson, he comes into this one 1-1 with a 5.13 ERA. he hasn't gone more than 4 innings in any game this year, so they're going to have to rely on their bullpen in this one, I feel, a lot, and their bullpen is not that great, so I'd play the Dodgers on the run line here. Here, they get back on track. You can get -1.5 at -118. But now what you guys have all been waiting for, we have the Orioles at the Brewers. Like I had mentioned, Keegan and Aiken versus Logan Henderson. A couple of young guys on the bump here. Aiken, this is probably just an opener for a bullpen game here. He's got a 3.27 ERA, but Henderson, on the other hand, he comes in this one 2-0 with a 2.45 ERA. And he's looked really good in only 2 starts this year, but 6 innings versus the A's, he had 9 strikeouts, 1 earned run. And versus the Guardians, he had went 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks. And those are teams that don't even really strike out much. But like I said, we don't fade streaks in baseball, and the Orioles are on a nasty, nasty losing streak here. They've lost 7 in a row. They've lost 8 of their last 10. The Brewers, they've just won 2 in a row here. They won 3 out of their last 5, and I think they keep the streak rolling. So the JuiceBox Lock of the day here is the Brewers on the money line. Get that -130 on DraftKings. So lock that in, and let's cash that tonight. And hope you guys cash all your bets, and we'll see you here again tomorrow. Peace.